Hello and welcome back to this episode of the Ignition Time channel. Do you know who Senator Chuck Grassley is? Well, Senator Chuck Grassley, a Republican from Iowa, is 87 years old and he's the longest serving member of the US Senate right now. There he is. Hello, Senator Grassley. And keep in mind that Senator Grassley is serving his seventh term in the United States Senate and was first elected in 1980. Well, Senator Grassley was interviewed today by Axios, and he said some very interesting things. He said that he thought the stimulus package needed to be more targeted. We have heard that from the Republicans before. But something we haven't heard from the Republicans before is Senator Grassley saying the stimulus package should not be $1.9 trillion. It should be at least $600 billion. And when he was asked, hey, specifically what needs to be cut out, he said, the entire $350 billion in state and local aid was not necessary. In fact, he said, why should residents of Iowa, and he's from Iowa, and Florida pay for the irresponsibility of New York, California, and Michigan? Yep, that's what the senior senator said. Here's brand new reporting from Axios, and we'll provide you with a link to the entire interview of Senator Chuck Grassley in the description section below so you can check it out. Now, there are many things that Senator Grassley said in this interview that were very important, but there were three things that the senior senator said, that really jumped out at me and that are worth highlighting. And I'll actually show you clips from his interview in this episode. The first thing that Senator Grassley said that jumped out at me was, I don't know the size that I would vote for, but we don't need 1.9 trillion, but we probably need at least 600 billion. That was the first thing. The second thing he said was, we should target any checks that go out from the federal government to people, like we have done twice already, that really have need. He's talking about individuals who need the money, specifically individuals on unemployment. And the third thing he said that was very noteworthy was, why should Iowans that are so careful on how we appropriate our money and spend our tax money give for the irresponsibility of New York or Chicago or California? Pretty interesting comments. Let's take a look at the first segment from this interview. Very interesting interview where Senator Chuck Grassley makes the case for targeting of the stimulus check. Senator Grassley said a lot of the $4 trillion has not yet been spent. He said we don't need 1.9 trillion, but we do need at least 600 billion. Very important comments from the senior most Republican senator in the United States Senate, the senior most Republican senator. Let's roll the tape and hear what the senator had to say.
Well, first of all, don't forget we have about $4 trillion, part of it March last year, part of it as recently as before Christmas. A lot of that money hasn't been spent yet, but it's very important that we do what we have done already because government shut down the economy. We probably wouldn't do it the same way again. Everybody's learning a little bit how to handle the virus and the economic impact of it. We have Iowans hurting. So whether it was rural hospitals, whether it was the unemployed people, whether it was all the people getting the virus that needed to be tended to, government had a responsibility to fight the virus, help the people that are hurt as a result of it, and also to give people confidence that once the government shut down the economy and created all this economic problem, we were going to help people get out of it. So we still have a lot of money that isn't spent. So maybe from the standpoint of your question about the $1 9/10 trillion that this administration is proposing, there's obviously a lot of it in it that is needed. There's still people that are hurt economically, like the unemployed. There's still needs help for health care givers. There still needs to be help to get the virus out or the vaccines out and to get the testing more widespread. And we need to be for sure to help our schools up and running, although we're doing better in Iowa in regard to that than most states. So I see not a need for $1 9/10 trillion, but I do see need in those areas that I just gave you, and particularly one area that I want to point out is the fact that we have a lot of people that are unemployed and have needs. We should target any checks that go out from the federal government to people like we have done twice already that it be more targeted to the people that really have need. So I don't know the size that I would vote for, but we don't need $1.9 trillion, but we probably need at least 600 billion.
The next segment is even more interesting, again, from the senior most Republican in the United States Senate. He said that we don't need $350 billion for state and local aid. Why should residents in Iowa, and interestingly, he even mentioned Florida, pay for the irresponsibility of other states? And he mentioned New York. In fact, he mentioned New York a couple of times. New York, California, and Michigan. Very interesting comments from Chuck Grassley. Let's roll the tape and see what the senior senator had to say.
What do you think specifically, if you don't think that we need to make the package that big, what do you think that maybe we could leave off of it?
$350 billion for state lost revenue. There might be some need that we ought to focus particularly to cities, but I doubt if Iowa, for instance, has been very fiscally responsible. We're I think Governor Reynolds is credited with either first or second among the 50 states of being the most fiscally sound governor in the country. And of course, the Republican legislature helped accomplish that. We would be one area. Why should Iowans that are so careful how we appropriate our money and spend our tax money give for the irresponsibility of New York or Chicago or California? And also they're going to have in this bill what we call multi-employer bailout. Bailing out pension systems when there's something wrong with why the pension systems don't have it. In other words, I take the view we ought to help those pension systems, but we ought to have very dramatic reform. But getting back to state and local revenues, I think it's important to understand that Florida senators don't think that they ought to be bailing out New York, because Florida's got more people than New York has, and they have lower taxes. They don't even have an income tax, as an example. So Floridians don't think that they ought to bail out New York.
The thing that I find really interesting is that the whole red versus blue should never even be a topic of conversation. It shouldn't be about red states versus blue states. It should be about states that need more money. Is there going to be mismanagement? Yes, there will always be mismanagement now and in the future. But I don't think that we should make it about red states versus blue states. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. But guess what? Here's where we are, and here's where things stand. Let me know if you agree with Chuck Grassley's comments or if you disagree, and why. Let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I do want us to have a debate about these arguments, the thesis by the Republicans about the need to not do big, large stimulus, unlike the Democrats who want large stimulus. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me personally. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Please click the subscribe button because it does help out the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.